So, where are all these warriors, these Lake Regale of Ireland, to defend their country? There is no one here to fight us Normans. And all they tell us is that these heroes were here, but are in the past. And what they give me is a book. What use is a book to a warrior like me? And they say you have to read it to understand. The death of Cuchulainn. Then he went down the road of Meaden Lucre by Slieve Fuad, and his enemy, Erc, son of Carbra, saw him in the chariot, and his sword shining red in his hand, and the light of his courage plain upon him, and his hair spread out like threads of gold that changed their colour on the edge of the anvil under the smith's hand. And the crow of battle was in the air above his head. Cuchulainn is coming out, said Erc to the men of Ireland, and let us be ready for him. So they made a fence of shields, linked together, and Erc put a couple of the men that were strongest here and there, to let on to be fighting one another, so that they might call Cuchulainn to them. And he put a druid with every couple of them, and he bid the druid to ask Cuchulainn spears of him, for it would be hard for him to refuse a druid. For it was in the prophecy of the children of Calatin that a king would be killed by each one of those spears in that battle. And he bid the men of Ireland to give out shouts, and Cuchulainn came against them in his chariot, doing his 3 thunder feats. And he used his spear and his sword in such a way that their heads and their hands and their feet and their bones were scattered through the plain of Merhevna, like the sands on the shore, like the stars in the sky, like the dew in May, like snowflakes and hailstones, like the leaves of the trees, like buttercups in a meadow, like grass under the feet of cattle on a fine summer day. It is red, that plain was, with the slaughter Cuchulainn made when he came crashing over it. Then Luga threw the spear, and it went through and through Cuchulainn, and he knew he had got his deadly wound, and his bowels came out on the cushions of the chariot, and his only horse went away from him, the black sanguine, with half the harness hanging from his neck, and left his master, the king of the heroes of Ireland, to die upon the plain of Merhevna. Then Cuchulainn said, there is a great desire on me to go to that lake beyond and to get a drink from it. We will give you leave to do that, they said, if you will come back to us after. I will bid you come for me if I am not able to come back myself, said Cuchulainn. Then he gathered up his bowels into his body, and he went down to the lake. He drank a drink, and then he washed himself, and he turned back again to his death. And he called to his enemies to come and meet him. There was a pillar stone west of the lake, and his eye lit upon it. And he went to the pillar stone, and he tied himself to it with his breastbelt, the way he would not meet his death lying down, but would meet it standing up. Then his enemies came round about him, but they were in dread of going close to him, for they were not sure, but he might be still alive. It is a great shame for you, said Erc, son of Carbra, not to strike the head off that man in revenge for his striking the head off my father. Then the grey of Macha, Cuchulainn's horse, came back to defend him as long as there was life in him. and the hero light was shining above him, and the Grey of Macha made 3 attacks against him. He killed 50 men with his teeth, and 30 with each of his hooves. Still is a saying, it is not sharper work than this done by the Grey of Macha, the time of Cuchulain's death. Then a bird came and settled on his shoulder. It is not on that pillar birds were used to settle, said Earth. Then Luga came and lifted up Cuchulain's ear from his shoulders and struck his head off. And the men of Ireland gave 3 great heavy shouts. And the sword fell from Cuchulain's hand, and as it fell, it struck the arm of Luga and cut off his right hand, and it fell to the ground. Then they cut off Cuchulain's hand in satisfaction for it, and the light faded away from about Cuchulain's head and left it as pale as the snow of a single night. Then all the men of Ireland said that as it was Maeve had gathered the army, it would be right for her to bring away the head to Cruachan. I will not bring it with me. It is for Luga that struck it off to bring it with him, said Maeve. And then Luga and his men went away, and they brought away Cuchulain's head and his right hand with them, and they went south towards the Liffey. So it does seem there were heroes and warriors here in the past, and perhaps they will come again. Us Normans will have to be careful here, and we shall build our fort here in Granard high to prevent attack. Guards! Guards!